Cory, dude, we've got an interesting one. This is Bleak Faith Forsaken, and we checked out the trailer. Man, I was like, yo, I'm in. Let's give this give this a try. I know we're not. You and I are not the Souls guys on the team. That's really up to Scott.
No.
And stuff. But you and I are like, Scott's busy. We'll tackle this one. We'll dive in. Let's do it, yo. I don't mind a tough game, but this is just nuts and just full of problems. It's like littered with just issues that came up. I'm like, nothing smooth. Have you played Elden Ring? Because yo, that's a smooth game. It may be hard as hell, but it's still playable. This, dude, we were talking about our PC settings and things just don't work. Dude, I just have one issue after another, Cory. Dude, I'm not feeling it. It's not because it's a Souls game. I'm just not feeling the game flat out.
Yeah, you know, I always want to put my heart and soul into these games because I feel like I need to give it the best opportunity because these games are always difficult, no matter which version of this game you want to play. I mean, there's tons of Souls-like games out there, but this one, the way it was presented, like you said, the trailer looked really good. The opening cutscene is very kind of graphic. It gets kind of graphic, but it's also a little trippy. Like, I didn't quite understand what was going on. I still didn't really get what was going on by the time I started into the game. That's kind of where the bad stuff started. The cutscene at the beginning might be the best part, Drew, as you know, as much as I could say, because the controls in this game, I played on controller. You gave me a heads up that you were having a difficulty on both mouse and keyboard and controller, so I was like, all right, let me hop on controller. That's what I'm used to playing the most, so let's go from there. The sensitivity was off the charts. It was wild. I had to turn my sensitivity down to the lowest settings and then also increase the dead zone on my controller that doesn't have any drift, just to be able to use the camera and the player, like, you control my character at the same time, like, somewhat smoothly. And I say somewhat smoothly because when you move in this game, I'm looking forward, then I look this way, then I look this way, then I look back, then I look this way. Like, it's nothing smooth about this game, man. And it's just, you notice it all the way through. And then you get into the fighting and timing of your parrying and things like that. I mean, like, there's not a mechanic in this game that I was introduced to, at least, that worked well for me.
Dude, you're literally tossed in and say go. And you know, some of these games, like a lot of games actually just do that. And you're just left to kind of figure it out on your own. And I'm okay with that. I actually kind of enjoy, depending on the game, I enjoy that, right? But when you get in here and you go, okay, first of all, my dude just starts like barreling off the edge because you start in this weird thing. I'm like, I'm on a rooftop for some particular reason. I have no idea what I'm doing here. And then I just fall off into an oblivion. And then I'm spawned back, and there's this thing standing here like this, and it is, dude, it is like glitching. It's just like this mummification of a body, right? And it's going.
I didn't know. Oh my!
It's like, what is going on with this thing? And I'm like, man, okay. And then I go in, I take a look at my settings, so that, yo, I got a high-end PC. Like this thing, I just built this thing, so like I'm ready to rock. Let's check it out. Jump in. Frames are at 90. I'm like, why am I at 90 frames per second? What is going on? I'm gonna smooth that out. Take a look at everything else. Everything else is cranked right up to epic. I'm like, all right, cool. Go keep increasing. Dude, I go unlimited. I'm just like that mummy restart thing goes. My whole thing just sees stuff. I was just like, what? So then I had to go in, readjust the settings. I couldn't even put it at 240 because everything just chugged it. I'm like, what is going? Like this isn't supposed to happen. And then you're trying to get into the fluid motion of the character. There is no fluid motion of the character at all. Like there's so many other games that came out just recently. Like, dude, it's hard not to just think of Elden Ring when you want to go Souls-like, right? Like, dude, they've crushed that. And if you looking to kind of get into that genre, be prepared because, yo, you're going to get compared to Elden Ring because it just crushed. It did so well that everybody wants to compare it to that. Okay, cool. I want to make a Souls game. That's great. Yo, this is just, it almost feels broken in some degree because your character's just, I had to go in and adjust all my settings down. I dialed just like you, right? I dialed all the way down. I'm like, Cory, dude, I tried on controller. This doesn't work on controller. I had to go in, remap everything to make it function, and then some things wouldn't even function on the controller. They weren't even mapped, dude. Like certain things were just missing altogether. That's just why. Like if you have both settings, you have gamepad and you have mouse and keys, and then some things are just missing altogether. I'm like, this game isn't working. To me, I'm almost going, is this early access? Because that's where I feel that the game is at, right? Because it doesn't feel polished enough to be a full release. I think the premise and the promise of what they have is actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
where it's going, right? I think the landscape of where they wanted to take the game is cool. What they've executed on is way below the bar than what they've kind of put themselves at for me.
Everything we ran into in this game was an issue in one way or another, whether it was minor or major. And that makes it very hard to enjoy any game, let alone one that visually for me, Drew, I didn't like the way this game looked. In the trailer, it looked really good, but then when I got into the game, maybe it was just the way because of how the mechanics of the movement and all that kind of the combat even felt. It just, everything felt just like I was playing a game from 10 years ago, something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I know people pour their heart and souls into making these games, and I truly appreciate it because we get to play these games. But man, this one just doesn't feel finished. Like, I feel like there's so much more polish that needs to be added to this game.
It really is a disappointment at the end of the day. I think some of the characters that we run into that we actually fight against, dude, like, they were easy. I didn't find them difficult. There's a matter of like 3 swats, and then I had the person taken care of. You get your gear. Yo, I have a pipe in one hand and eventually got an axe, but there's a sword on my back that I cannot touch. What is that? Right? It's just one of it was another one of those things going, okay, this is supposed to be my armor slot, my gear slot, my weapon slot. And then you get to it and it's just there's a sword on your back, but it's just the tease that maybe one day you'll get a sword. Like, I mean, it's just one thing after another. And a lot of grays. Dude, everything was just gray.
That's what I'm saying.
Board,
visually,
right?
the game wasn't that nice to look at the whole time.
No, dude, it's just one struggle after another. Cory, I think our time has been a little bit bleak, to say the least. Unfortunately for me, this did not go well. I'm there with the 2. There's just so many issues, control issues. The fact that how do you even go in and remap everything to still not work just blows my mind.
Yeah, you know what? That makes 2 of us, Drew, because I'm also at a 2. This game was so disappointing. I wanted it to be good. The trailer was awesome. The gameplay is just a mess. This needs to be fixed. Maybe there's hope for it in the future, but as it stands right now, I would not be looking at this one.
Nope.